If you go to the Chick-fil-A website or walk into almost any Chick-fil-A store, you'll see these words on the page or on a plaque. They're the words of Chick-fil-A founder and chicken sandwich developer, Truett Cathy. Truett Cathy was a simple man. He grew up in an old school Southern Baptist home, and his parents raised him to treat people in a certain way. He had a vision and a dream to create a restaurant which gave people the experience of a fast food restaurant that could come in, order their food quickly, or sit down and enjoy a nice family meal. But he didn't want the feel of a fast food restaurant. He also created a new sandwich. He took the idea of a burger and applied it to a chicken breast, and thus created what we know now as the chicken sandwich. What many people don't know is that he actually has a restaurant in Atlanta called the Dwarf House. At the Dwarf House, they sell chicken sandwiches as well as hamburgers and many other things. Truett Cathy was an amazing entrepreneur for what I would say is three main reasons. He took care of his customers, he invested and cared about young people, and he redefined what leadership is in his restaurant. First and foremost, he cared about his customers. He touched on this a great deal in his book, How Did You Do It, Truett? A Recipe to Success. As I mentioned earlier, he is a very religious man, and his influence with his business motto is from the biblical commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. He believed this, and he wants his guests to experience this every time they walk into his restaurants. He uses the motto of, he said in his book, you can't beat the golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He took it so far as to create the motto for Chick-fil-A of second mile service. This motto actually comes from a biblical story in which Jesus tells of the Roman soldiers who would force men to carry their packs a mile. Jesus told his disciples, though, that they should take the extra mile and carry it 2 miles. And that's what Truett wants every customer to experience, is that second mile service when coming to Chick-fil-A. Secondly, Chick-fil-A and Truett Cathy really cared and invested about in young people. As you know from previous speeches, I'm a team leader at Chick-fil-A down in Arizona. Chick-fil-A is one of the few restaurants I found that hires at the young age of 14. I know this because when I was looking for a job, they hired me. Chick-fil-A, as a business, has really cared about young people. Truett Cathy wrote a book called It's Better to Build Boys Than Men. And in the opening of the book, he says, a good child nearby is about to make a bad choice that will leave lasting consequences and needs for you to step in. And that is exactly what Truett did on many occasions. He worked at a children's home for a long time and even founded a Windshade Camp, which is a summer camp for young boys and girls. He has really taken time to develop and encourage young people throughout his life, and has even instilled that in his Chick-fil-A Corporation today. Lastly, Chick-fil-A redefined leadership in his business. What you'll find in many corporate leadership programs is a system that is like a pyramid, where the CEOs and the people on top are at the top of it, and then it trickles down until you get to the lowly employees at the bottom. What you find at Chick-fil-A is much different. Chick-fil-A believes in a system that is best represented by a tree, where the leadership is on the top, like the CEOs, the corporate officers and such, and then the employees are supported by the team leaders, the directors, and they're like the branches of the tree. Mark Miller, who is the president for organizational effectiveness of Chick-fil-A, said this: great leaders serve, and that is that they see this future, they engage and develop others, they reinvent continuously, they value results in relationship, they embody the values. For Chick-fil-A as a whole, serving those who work for you is the best way to conduct yourself as a leader. And these things and more are what made Truett an amazing leader. Truett Cathy was an amazing man, and I am privileged to say that I actually had the opportunity to meet him. I say was because sadly on September 8th, 2014, he passed away at the age of 93. Truett left a great legacy behind and has since passed his business on to his son, Dan T. Cathy, who runs the business now. He truly cared about his customers. He really invested in young people and invested and developed them. And he redefined leadership in his business. These things and more have made Truett Cathy an amazing entrepreneur.